Xiao Yan clearly remembers that although he used to be Venerable Tianhua on Doqi continent, his master, Venerable Yao, refined his body. At that time, when refining the body, it needed the flames from the fusion of 3 different fires, and the required pills were of extremely high rank, and the blood essence of the beast was also extremely domineering. So the refining was successful. But their strength is not as strong as their ancestor Xiao Xuan. The more powerful the soul needs, the more stringent the body is. Otherwise, the refined body will not be able to accommodate the powerful force and will explode in an instant, and it will be in vain in the end. After all, only a tyrannical body has the strength to return to the peak after resurrection. The strength of the body restricts the potential of future cultivation, so this matter cannot be sloppy. The strength of your ancestor, Xiao Xin Zhouxing Doxing's peak in the late stage is enough to show that he is also a gifted person, so the refined body can't be too ordinary. Now that you have the bones of this emperor, you need to cooperate with some medicinal materials. The refined body is also extremely perfect. The Golden Dragon King also stood in front of Xiao Yan and stared at the emperor's bones with satisfaction. Hearing that, Xiao Yan's eyes lit up. If the emperor's bones are the main body to cooperate with many high-level medicinal pills, then the resurrected ancestor, Xiao Xuan, has a great possibility to break through the Do Shang and directly hit the 7 stars. Do Di Peak. Even if the ancestor Xiao Xuan's soul itself is only the strength of the peak of Do Shang, but that body is the peak of the 7-star Do Emperor, a genuine peak powerhouse of the 7-star Do Di. Even on this Xianling continent, he can become the mainstay of a detached force, and he is a character who can walk sideways. Xiao Yan thought so passionately in his heart, and then he also put his eyes on the jade-white skeleton in front of him. Xiao Yan's careful thinking was naturally discovered by his master, the Golden Dragon King. And then he rolled his eyes and said, "Look what makes you happy. Isn't it a peak powerhouse of the 7-star Do Di? There is no prospect at all." Xiao Yan is also full of black lines. Although he vaguely knows that his master, the Golden Dragon King, must be very powerful, the powerhouse at the peak of the 7-star Do Di is also a symbol of a powerhouse. As valuable as it is, there was a moment of speechlessness. "Okay, you put away the bones of the emperor first, and I'll tell you in detail. Remember to wrap it in your flame." The Golden Dragon King was also speaking. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's pupils shrank tightly, and then he thought to himself, although this emperor's skeleton is powerful, it has been burning like this by his own strange fire. Will it burn out? Although this strange fire of my own is not comparable to the power of the holy flame of the Do Di continent, its power is also very important. Such precious bones are hard to come by. Xiao Yan's distraction naturally couldn't escape the eyes of his master, the Golden Dragon King. And then the Golden Dragon King said in a very contemptuous tone, "Cut, with the power of your flames, you still want to burn the bones of the emperor? Don't dream. You can use your power of flame to strike with all your might, and you won't be able to break the bones of the emperor." Xiao Yan also scratched his head in embarrassment when he heard the words, and then the milky white flame instantly enveloped the bones of the emperor. "Senior is offended," Xiao Yan said abruptly, then bowed deeply. Without hesitation, the milky white flame skeleton in front of him turned into a beam of light and strung into the ring on Xiao Yan's finger. After doing all this, Xiao Yan nodded and said with a chuckle, "Master, now I have merged 23 kinds of different fires, and I am still a first-order emperor-grade pharmacist, as strong as a 7-star fighting emperor peak powerhouse. The bones are also available, so is it possible to refine the body that accommodates the soul for the ancestors?" Hearing Xiao Yan's words, The Golden Dragon King was stunned and immediately felt a little relieved. He touched Xiao Yan's head, changed his appearance, and said with a smile, "The normal body refining is quite simple, but refining Do Di is strong. The materials needed for the victim's body are too rare and even terrifying, so this matter cannot be rushed. Even if he is as powerful as the Golden Dragon King, he is eager to be reborn. Although Xiao Yan is still very weak in front of him, the Golden Dragon King believes that the person in front of him will one day bring him back to life. After all, no one's soul would be willing to live in the darkness of the sky, and the Golden Dragon King still has his own things to do. What materials do I need? Now I also have the title of Elder in the Qingcheng Alchemist Association. With the addition of the Yu family, maybe I can let them search." Xiao Yan asked. "These things can't be obtained by searching." The Golden Dragon King gave a wry smile, but looking at Xiao Yan's earnest gaze, he nodded helplessly and said, "I want to refine something that can hold the soul of your ancestors. If you have a body and resurrect your ancestors, the most important thing is not many, but 4 things are needed." Seeing the 4 fingers stretched out by his master, the Golden Dragon King, Xiao Yan also hurriedly focused and listened. First, create a blood-shaping pill. Second, the bloodline of the blood of the 7th grade Emperor-ranked warcraft. Third, the skeleton of a Do Di strongman. Fourth, the soul of the resurrected person, even if it is a shard imprint, as long as it has the power of the soul. Hearing that 4 things slowly popped out of the mouth of his master, the Golden Dragon King, Xiao Yan's original fiery expression gradually changed to sluggishness. Plastic health building blood pill? This thing is that Xiao Yan's first-class alchemist does not know it at all, but fortunately he knows from his well-informed master Jin Longwang. This is the 3rd order peak of the dignified emperor, and even able to step into the top of the imperial medicine pill, the legendary super elixir that can immediately save the living dead as long as there is still a drop of blood. The 1st order emperor grade medicinal pills are further divided into the 3rd grade, Tianyi Xian, followed by the 2nd grade emperor grade, Tianyi Xian, and then the 3rd grade emperor grade. The improvement of a pharmacist, his strength, and his soul power are inseparable, and this first one alone stumped Xiao Yan. The bloodline of the 7th grade Emperor-ranked warcraft? This is astonishingly the same strength as the peak powerhouse of the 7-star Do Emperor in front of him. In front of the 7-star Do Emperor peak powerhouse, even escaping is particularly difficult. Could it be that you allow yourself to kill a monster that is comparable to the human 7-star Do Emperor peak powerhouse? Not sure who kills who. A monster of this level is not a one-sided overlord, and it is not something that Xiao Yan can afford now. The 1st rank of the Warcraft Emperor is like a human 1-star fighting emperor, but it is not known who is stronger or weaker in the real competition. The skeleton of a strong fighting emperor? There's a ready-made one in front of this one, which saves Xiao Yan a lot of trouble. Otherwise, would it be possible that Xiao Yan would have to slaughter a 7-star Do Emperor peak powerhouse? The soul imprint of the ancestor Xiao Xuan, this Xiao Yan already has it. Although there's still a long way to go before the blood of monsters and the blood-shaping pill, but the 2 of the 4 materials are already available. Xiao Yan also nodded slightly. Having a goal is better than blindly looking for it. My master is knowledgeable, and according to this material to prepare, the resurrection day of the ancestor Xiao Xuan is not far away. Looking at Xiao Yan, whose face was full of surprise, the Golden Dragon King also slowly said with relief, "This son really has a heart." Looking at Xiao Yan's stunned expression, the Golden Dragon King also smiled. He knew how shocking these 4 materials were to Xiao Yan, so he was not surprised. He just smiled and comforted. These things are extremely difficult to obtain, so I said, don't be in a hurry. Your ancestors should be very relieved that you have this heart. Anyway, it's still a long time. We can do it slowly. His face gradually recovered. After a while, Xiao Yin smiled bitterly, feeling a little dizzy in his head. The essence bloodline of the 7th grade Emperor rank beasts is the super powerhouse equivalent to the 7-star fighting Emperor powerhouse, and the essence bloodline is the beasts. The thing that survives and grows is like the blood and marrow in the human body. If this thing is extracted from the body of the beast, the latter will naturally lose his life immediately. Therefore, if you want to get the 7th rank, the bloodline of Warcraft's essence, then it is necessary to kill a super beast that is comparable to a 7-star Dodi. And this level of Warcraft, from birth to now, Xiao Yin has never even seen a single time, let alone a kill. The so-called blood-shaping pill is not a simple thing. For the pills of the 3rd order peak of the Emperor, I am afraid that even the current president of the Qingcheng Alchemist Association will not be able to guarantee success, let alone. There are all kinds of strange and rare medicinal materials for refining the blood-shaping pills, and it is a great trouble to collect these things. With a bitter expression on his face, he nodded, and resurrecting the ancestor Xiao Xuan really wasn't that simple. Xiao Yin sighed and said, I will keep this matter in my heart and look for opportunities in the future to find a way to complete the remaining 2 materials. It wouldn't be so troublesome to refine a body that an ordinary soul can accommodate, but the stronger the soul power and the strength of your ancestor Xiao Xuan during his lifetime, the more stringent the requirements for the body will be. And I forgot to tell you that the most fundamental thing for refining the body is the fire of holy flame. The Golden Dragon King smiled and said, Holy flame. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's mood that had calmed down was also becoming more surprising. The most fundamental thing to refine the body actually needs the fire of holy flame. Xiao Yan also looked at his master, Jinlong King, floating in the air with surprise. Good. If it is an ordinary Do Zun and Do Sheng level body, it can be made with the flames in your body, but the body of a strong Do Di is different. When you are promoted to Do Di, you will be promoted successfully by absorbing the origin of the Emperor, and this origin of the Emperor has tempered the body so that you can truly step into the Do Di. If you compare the body that can accommodate the peak of the 9-star Do Sheng to 10, it is enough to accommodate Do Di. The body of an Emperor is 100. The Golden Dragon King said solemnly. Hearing this, Xiao Yan also carefully recalled what his master Jinlong King said. And your current power of flame is not enough to refine the bones of the peak 7-star Do Emperor in your hand. And refining the body, the sooner the better, otherwise the blood of the beast will be exhausted and the medicine pill will take a long time. If the medicinal power disappears, then it is a failure. The Golden Dragon King said in a very calm tone. Indeed, in terms of Xiao Yan's current power of different fires, it would take several days to refine the bones of the peak powerhouses of the 7-star Do Emperor. On the one hand, the strength of the Emperor's skeleton in his lifetime was extremely terrifying, and the skeleton that formed him after death was powerful. It is also quite laborious to transform. Moreover, even if the rarity of the holy flame is compared to that of the strange fire, it is not too much. Whether it can be subdued or not is another matter, and all of these are enough to explain how hard the holy flame is to be found. Damn, it's really twists and turns. Xiao Yan couldn't help cursing after hearing that his master Jinlong King said this. But don't worry, when a matter in Xinjiang here is over, I will slowly guide you to find the holy flame that sits on this profound spirit continent. I just don't know how he is now. The Golden Dragon King also looked at Xiao Yan, who was a little depressed, and said comfortably, "Huh." Xiao Yan suddenly became excited when he heard the words, and then looked at his master, the Golden Dragon King, with fiery eyes. "Hey, don't try to tell me what to say. You kid, I know Sheng Yan, and I also know about your family, but I just won't tell you." The Golden Dragon King laughed. Xiao Yan's eyes returned to normal immediately, and then rolled his eyes at his master, the Golden Dragon King. "When you are strong enough, I will naturally tell you one by one. As for now, let's go out of the ruins first." Looking at the stone room that was collapsing more and more, the Golden Dragon King also said, "Yeah." Xiao Yan also knew that what his master Jinlong King said was true. Even though he had many mysteries, he had no strength. Boom, boom, boom. Pieces of boulders fell from the stone chamber. In the stone room of the emperor, the blood was taken, and the bones were obtained by the destined people. It also lived up to the wish of the senior. While thinking about the milky white vindictiveness that enveloped the whole body, he waved his right hand fiercely, a space crack. It appeared in front of Xiao Yan. Of course, there's a ban on suppressing the strong in this ruin, so that the strong who surpass the 4-star Do Emperor cannot step into it. So even the space crack cannot be torn out, but with the loss of the Emperor's bones and blood essence, the ban is also slowly losing its strength. Time to go. Without hesitation, it turned into a milky white meteor and streaks into the crack in space. Half a month has passed since the opening of the World of Warcraft ruins. After being persuaded to retreat by the 7 major cities, they did not dare to step into the ruins, but everyone knew that this Xiao Yan was enough to obtain the largest number of the ruins. Therefore, the current Xiao Yan is also the mortal enemy of many of the heaven's favorites in the 7 cities, especially that Wuqing Wuhuan, who is even more worried about Xiao Yan being dressed in white on demand, and rumored to deal with Xiao Yan. Ho ho ho. As soon as the beast ruins came out, I could hear the roars of some monsters from time to time, was apparently sent out to fight for turf. A young man with a weak figure, with a dark, heavy ruler on his back, was walking alone in this beast mountain range. This trip to the ruins is also a worthwhile trip, the strength of the peak of the Samsung Do D. In addition, you can carry this heavy ruler with you. I have dealt with it for you. It usually looks like a bland, black, heavy ruler. This heavy ruler can suppress your breath. The strength of the peak of Samsung Do D has been suppressed to in the middle of the 3-star Do D, and when you take off this heavy ruler to fight against others, the power of the heavy ruler will increase sharply in an instant, which will undoubtedly be one of your means, and this heavy ruler is also really extraordinary. The Golden Dragon King is also satisfied. Nodded. Xiao Yan can also feel that this ancient ruler of different fires, which is formed by the fusion of 23 kinds of different fire powers, is definitely not simple. Before, his current strength was limited, and he could not explore the mysteries. Let's go back to Qingchang first. I don't know what happened to Qing Yuan's little girl. The Golden Dragon King was also talking. Hand over that so-called great creation. I can consider to spare you not to die. There was a figure in front of Xiao Yan, and the huge red battle qi roared out like a cloud of fire. And on the cloud of fire, a slender figure stood with his hands behind his back. With a look of contempt, he turned his eyes to the young man with heavy feet on his back.